Hey y'all, it's Hoagie. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, we are talking about self-love September topics, and this week again is more of a story than in anything else. I do talk at the end about, what I'm doing to, counteract the effects of my childhood bullying. And I hope that some of that you will find useful. But for the most part, this is a story of my childhood bullying and how it has affected me in my adulthood. So I was bullied all the way from kindergarten to 12th grade. Like, there was not a point in my schooling that I wasn't being bullied for something or another, whether it would be my weight or my sexuality or even my intelligence. I was a gifted kid, and a lot of kids took offense to that. It kind of compounded into me being the teacher's pet and the teachers loving me because I was good at class. I was good at everything, and they loved me, and I did my best to be good for them. I wanted to make them proud. I wanted them to like me because so many of the kids didn't like me. They hated me because of my weight, or because I was different, or because I exuded queerness before I even realized I was queer. I'm pretty sure I was a very gay individual. But for one reason or another, even the guys would get together and make fun of me. Especially about my weight. Kids suck, Kids are like the worst. It's like that John Mulaney skit where he's like, 8th graders are the meanest. They will find that one thing about you that you are insecure about, and they will specifically make fun of you for that. And if that ain't the truth. I remember trying to get the guys to like me, not because I was attracted to them, but because I wanted to be friends with them. I wanted to be friends with anyone. And specifically, the girls were making fun of me because at that time I presented as female and I thought I was a girl. And it ended up being that nobody wanted to interact with me. I had some friends, but they were friends of exclusion. They were also the outcast kids, and we didn't really have much in common. Some of us were also in the gifted program. Some of them were in choir with me, and so we kind of, we had things in common, but we didn't really have, interests in common. We didn't have the same worldview. We didn't have the same outlook. We didn't want to be the same things when we grew up. It was friendship of exclusion. And I will say, I didn't really have any real friends until college. It wasn't until college that I went to the Gay Straight Alliance at my college, and I met all these great people. It was amazing, and for the first time I actually felt like these people actually like me for who I am, and not just because, well, I'll hang out with this person because he's also being bullied. Solidarity, obviously, but also, it was very superficial. I was very online at this point. Dude, I was online since the day I was born, but for the most part in middle school and a little bit of elementary school, but mostly middle school and high school, I was very online. I lied about my age. I read things I probably shouldn't have been reading. And I was on forums. I was on just general forums. I was on LiveJournal. I had art on DeviantArt. And I wanted people to like me, because who doesn't? And I was this little kid and reaching out and trying to make friends and have people like me. And I did my best to seem like an adult, and I kind of failed at that. And in that way, I offended a lot of people. I made a lot of people upset, and they yelled at me, and I got banned from some places. I got yelled at. I got muted or restricted, and it really, really hit me. Even in my art, people were yelling. Well, they were ridiculing my art. There's assholes on the internet who were just like, your art sucks because it's not professional looking. I was 13, so, fuck you. But I I wanted so badly to fit in somewhere, and I thought online I'd be able to fit in, but even then, I didn't make any friends online until I was an adult. But I shut down online. I decided, I'm not gonna, fine, I'm not gonna interact. I had a live journal. I wrote in my journal. I did not comment on anything in any communities. I didn't interact with people. I didn't engage at all. And that has continued to the present day. In high school, when my bipolar disorder really came to a head and really got to the point where it was drastically affecting my work at school, I lost a lot of friends. I was an asshole. I was a little bitch, okay? I didn't know what was going on with my brain, and how I would get frustrated and mad at people, and then I would blast them on Facebook. I ruined some friendships by talking about people publicly on Facebook about how I was upset with them, when I should have just literally talked to them at school when I saw them. But I didn't do that. So I really fucked up a couple times, and I regret that to this day. But there's it's water under the bridge for these people, but I'm never going to be friends with them again, and it sucks. And the issue was, it wasn't just the students who got upset with me because I was being an asshole, but also they didn't seem to understand what I was going through, how I was terrified and I didn't know what was happening. And I addressed this on my channel before, but even the teachers, there were some teachers who were very, very supportive of me, but there were other teachers who basically tried to fail me because I wasn't coming to school. That I couldn't get out of the car at the beginning of the day, and I couldn't get out of the car, and I had to go back home. And so I couldn't go to school, and I was missing days and days of school, so much school. And they were calling my mom, and they were like, "Is Hoagie coming in?" My mom was like, no, he's not. So my teachers tried to fail me. They were like, "You're not putting in enough hours. You're not doing the work." Even though I was doing the work, they emailed me the work, and I submitted the work. I did the work. I just wasn't there for the lectures. So they were like, we can't give you a passing grade. So my mom had to talk to my brand new psychiatrist, my very first psychiatrist. My psychiatrist had to write a letter for these teachers to be like, "Look, this kid is fucked up in the head. Please forgive him." And we had to have all these meetings, and eventually I didn't fail any of my classes, but I did get a couple C's. They were like, "The best we can do is a C." So I was set up to be valedictorian, and then that didn't actually happen. When I came out in middle school, and then again to other people in high school, I lost friends. I've addressed this on my channel. I lost friends. Some of them came back because they realized that their parents were kind of, overreacting, and maybe I can still be friends with Hoagie because Hoagie is just a nice person. I hope I'm a nice person. But I lost friends. I lost respect from teachers when the teachers found out. It was really fucked up. It really was. It was fucked up. Because I live in a very conservative place, and I went to a high school that was populated mostly by Mormons, and it didn't end well. But it made me feel very alone, and it wasn't until college that I finally felt like I had found my people, that people actually understood me, and people actually liked me, and it's so much better than high school. If you haven't gotten out of high school yet, college is a totally different animal, and I promise you, you're going to experience something radically different from what you're experiencing in high school. As for how this is affecting me in the current moment, I will have you know that I wasn't actually fat in elementary school and middle school, even though I was being bullied for my weight. I got my growth spurt pretty early. I was 5'4" in 5th grade, and I was taller than everybody else. And I was stocky, but I wasn't fat. I was going to the straight sizes in the store. Like, I wasn't having to buy out of department clothes. I was just bigger than everyone. And I got bullied relentlessly for it because, all these other girls are super skinny and petite and are able to wear, like, really the fashionable stuff. Like, they were richer and they were able to get the cool shit, and I couldn't. And so I looked different, and that's all kids need to, fuck with you. And so I took this personally. I was like, oh God, maybe I am fat. Maybe I do look like shit. Maybe I'm this horrible person. And so I told my mom, and at this point she was dieting. She always dieted until, like, I was in college and her metabolism changed, but, like, she was always dieting. And I asked her, I was just like, what am I supposed to do? And what she should have said was, you're perfectly fine the way you are. Don't let anybody, tell you that you're not. What she did say was, would you like to diet with me? And that was a very bad decision on her part because it really fucked me up. So I was dieting with her. We did the Atkins diet. We did, not Sally Mae, this one blonde lady who said fat is your friend. I remember that video. We did Richard Simmons. We did, like, all this stuff. And I would try anything. I was trying to get into a smaller middle school graduation dress when I should have just bought a bigger dress. But I was like, no, I'm going to get into this dress. And, like, I was eating asparagus for lunch at school. This is a whole other story. But it was bad. And it fucked up my metabolism. My metabolism was drastically altered, and it has not recovered. And this often happens to kids who diet as children before, they finish puberty, and it messes with their metabolism, and then they're more likely to be fat when they get older. And then I got into high school, and I ended up putting on not a considerable amount of weight, but, some weight, and I ended up as a size 16. And that was the biggest that I had ever been. And I hated it. And I hated myself. And I actually, like, my doctors were like, you should lose weight. But there was justification for the bullying now. And I felt like, oh God, they were right all along. Oh my God, I really am fat. I really am this fat loser. And it got in my brain that, like, I'm this fat loser, and I'm always going to be this fat loser because I've been this fat loser since I was in kindergarten. So, that is very ingrained in my brain right now. I fluctuated in my weight in high school. I went to the gym. I tried doing stuff. When I was manic, it was very easy for me to lose weight. And then I got medicated, and then I got put on antipsychotics, and then I put on a bunch of weight because that's what happens. And I'm still dealing with that. Like, every time they switch me to a new antipsychotic, I put on more weight. And that's not my fault. I'm aware that that's not my fault, but it's just something that's how medication works. I have body dysmorphia. I've had it since I was little. I still have it. And it interacts with the dysphoria, but they're different. They're obviously different. The gender dysphoria is specifically for my gender, but the body dysmorphia is like, you are this disgusting piece of shit, and you're never going to be attractive. And even when people say that they're attracted to you, they're either blatantly lying or they're deluded. And it's not a way to live. And now here we are in the year of our Lord 2021, and I have a terrible relationship with food, and I'm still working on it. To this day, I have a deathly fear of people getting mad at me on the internet. The only people I talk to online are my mutuals on Twitter and the occasional Tumblr mutual. Like, if we're not mutuals, I'm not going to talk to you. Friends on Facebook, sometimes I will talk to them. It depends. But I don't reach out to people that I don't know. I don't comment on fan fiction that I would like to. Look, I have a 7-year-old AO3 account and I have made 5 comments. And those are all recent, like in the past 6 months, because my roommate is helping me. I have a 3-year-old Reddit account with 4 karma because I made one comment a while back about my job, and then I never looked at that post again because I didn't want to see what people were saying or if they were yelling at me. I was just like, I'm just going to leave that over there. But I'm so afraid that I'm going to say something that people are going to hate, even though I want to say positive things. And I'm never like being inflammatory or anything. I post really nice things about fan fiction that I enjoy on AO3, and for some reason my brain is like, no, they're gonna hate you, they're gonna tell you, to fuck off, they're gonna be so upset at you for writing this glowing comment about their fic, which all of my fanfiction writer friends are like, please comment, we love comments, even if it's just a keyboard smash or a bunch of emoji, we love it, please comment. And I try so hard, but it is terrifying. And I don't know what it's gonna take to get through that, but it's terrifying. Side note, this is why it took me so long to get to your comments, because I know there are always assholes, and I said before there were a couple assholes, and I either did not talk to them or I deleted their comment if it was especially inflammatory. But I'm always afraid that like every single comment is going to be like that, and 95% of the comments you guys gave me were wonderful. It's just that 5% that kind of reinforced, oh god, everybody hates me. No, that's not true. I know that's not true, but my brain keeps telling me that. I have tied my self-worth to my productivity because I was always a teacher's pet, because I didn't really get any other positive reinforcement at school except for my grades and how well my teachers liked me. I was always the top of my class. There wasn't anything I was bad at until college, because that's what always happens. But I was so used to being the best at everything that if I can't be the best at something, it means I failed at it. Like, there's no, you're getting better at it. There's no, oh, there's room for improvement. There's either you're perfect or you suck. And that happens in my brain for like every little thing, not just college. Like in college, I freaked out. I dropped out because I couldn't do the work that I wanted to do perfectly. And so I wasn't going to do it at all, which is not conducive to good grades. But since, especially in high school, like there were a bunch of teachers who absolutely adored me, who were very happy with me, who wanted to support me going to college. I wanted to pursue biology. My biology teacher was wonderful. He really, really helped me get through the last 2 years of school. So did my choir teacher. They're both wonderful. But there were other teachers who, no matter what I did, I couldn't please. And it absolutely destroyed me, because that means that I'm not a good person. That means that I don't have worth. That means that there's something wrong with me if I can't make every person of authority like me. If I can't please them, then like, what the fuck is the point? And that's not healthy. It's not a way to live. I have to be useful. I have to be perfect. If I'm not the best at something, what's the point? If I'm not gonna be able to do it perfectly, I don't want to do it at all. Like that meme, me. And that's not a way to live. I said it. That's not a way to live, and I don't want to live like that. But it's still so hard to get to the point where I don't feel like, why do I even bother if it's not going to be perfect? Bringing this back to self-love, there are things that I do now, especially recently, like since the panini, recently, that have been helping me, that I've been doing my best to counteract these effects of childhood bullying. It is a daily struggle for me not to shame myself for what I eat. But there's no moral implication in what you eat. There's no moral failing for eating the wrong food. You know, you're not a bad person for what you eat. There's no empty calories. It's all nutrition for your body. Everything has nutritional value. It's keeping you alive. I mean, like, that's what food is for. It keeps you alive. And if you're eating anything, that's better than not eating anything. Just eat something. I hate the idea of good food and bad food. It's food. It has certain nutrients in certain percentages and certain amount of calories, and those things are all used by your body to keep you alive. And that's a good thing. In the same vein, I'm doing my best not to hate my reflection. I've tried this recently where I actually take the time to look at myself in the mirror before I take a shower, which I never used to do. I would just be like, just take off my clothes, jump in the shower so I don't have to see myself. And I'm like taking the opportunity to look in the mirror, and look to the side and look at my butt, you know, and actually look at myself and evaluate myself and be like, this is the body that I am in. I'm stuck like this for the time being. My body is doing its job of keeping me alive, and I should be grateful for that. And it ties into gender dysphoria because I look at my tits and I'm like, those don't go there. Those should not be there, and I am going to get rid of them. But for the most part, the rest of my body, I'm going to be stuck with. I mean, fat redistribution will happen as my weight fluctuates. But I'm stuck with this. I'm never going to be a skinny person. That's just not in my metabolism's wheelhouse. That's just not going to happen. I was never a size 0, and I never will be. And I don't even want to be. And that's okay. It's okay. I want to be more flexible. I want to have more strength, but that doesn't affect my weight. It could affect my weight, but it doesn't necessarily affect my weight. And I'm doing my best to do affirmations. I'm allowed to take up space. That's a big one. I am making a conscious effort to put myself out there online, to comment on people I don't know, to comment on fan fiction that I enjoy. I've yet to make a Reddit post, but I'm working up to it. My roommate is wonderful. She's encouraging me to comment on things. She'll sit there with me when I say, like, I really want to comment on this, but I'm scared. And she'll, like, sit with me until I do it. And it really does help just to have someone back you up and be like, you know, it's not gonna hurt you to put yourself out there. I'm doing my best to untie my self-worth from my productivity. I'm in the worst shape of my life in every way. Maybe not mentally. I think I'm doing better mentally. But I can't do things. There are things I will never be able to do. Chronic illness has taken away the possibility that I will ever be able to do some things ever again. And I have to come to accept that. I am never going to be as flexible as I used to be. I am never going to have the range of motion that I used to have. And that doesn't decrease from my worth. The idea that my mental health has to be, you know, taken care of to the point where I can do all of these neurotypical things that people without disabilities do all the time. And if I can't hold myself to that standard, then I'm not worth anything, is absolutely absurd, because I'm not abled. I have mental illnesses, and that's just how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And there's no moral failing in what the cards have been dealt to you for this life. The panini has made my body and my mind a lot more complicated and difficult to deal with. And I didn't make it happen. I didn't, create the panini, but it still affects me in ways that I can't control. And there are so many things that I can't control, and I need to understand that, like, I can't control everything. I'm a perfectionist. I want to be in control of every little thing. I have OCD. I want to be in control of every little thing, and that is not possible. It's absolutely impossible. Tell that to my brain. The fact that I wasn't able to get the degree I originally wanted, the fact that I tried twice to get my master's degree and not failed, but stopped twice, doesn't mean that I'm not cut out for it. It doesn't mean that I can't ever get my master's degree. It just means that at that point in my life I wasn't ready. And that's not a failure. I am not a failure. I feel like a failure. I'm not a failure. And neither are you. We are more than what we are capable of doing. We have worth just by being alive. We are human beings with inherent worth. We deserve respect. We deserve food, shelter, health care, all of that stuff. We deserve to live. We deserve to survive because we are alive, because we live in a society that at least should be taking care of its people. You have value. So do I. That's about it for this video. I know it's a little bit longer than usual, but you know, I had a lot to say. If you guys want to talk about your experiences in the comments, I would love to hear about it. We all have to support each other. This is a tiny community, but we still must support each other. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. I do my best to put out a new video every week. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next time. Mwah.